Okay, here's a story for you. This one's called Rhody Rage by me, Leah Mooney. By the time I got back into the car, I had worked myself into quite a temper. The garden centre had been full of doddering old dears who spent ages poring over a slug-eaten pansy only to put it back again and pick up another one. I am old, but I am definitely not doddery. I know exactly what I want when I go into a garden centre. No idle browsing for me. All I wanted was a pink rhododendron to go in a pot behind the pond. That's all. There was absolutely no reason why it should have been a hassle. I just wanted to pop in before I went to the dentist. My teeth weren't fitting as well as they should, and it was getting very embarrassing. They were feeling rather loose as I bent to pick up the plant. Suddenly, a stupid old bag knocked into me with her basket. Jarred my back so badly, I wanted to snatch the bloody basket and belt her around the head with it. As I started making my way to the checkouts with my Rhody, my mobile phone rang. Putting the plant down to answer it, I noticed that it was my son calling from work. I lowered myself onto a bench in the garden furniture display section. A very young-looking girl in the checkout gave me the evil eye. Just make my day, I thought. Go on, say something to me. I dare you. She didn't, and I answered the phone. Hello, dear. To what do I owe the pleasure? Oh, Mum, you wouldn't believe it. The wankers from the council have been having a go about my sign. What about it? They said I should have had applied for planning permission. For that sign advertising your business? It's on your own land. That's ridiculous. I know it is, Mum. They said that because it extends out over their land, I should have applied for permission. What is wrong with these people? Everyone's been saying how good it looks too, and how noticeable it is from the main road. Do you think it'd be bad for business if you had to take it down? Possibly. That's disgusting. What's the matter with these people? They've got nothing better to do than to persecute people just trying to make a living. They're just a bunch of jobs worth, Mum. Bloody idiots. These stupid, smug little men sitting in their offices. Yeah, Mum, he interrupted with. No one wants to give small businesses anything but grief these days. It's a disgrace, dear. Wouldn't you just love to... Yeah, all right, I've got to go now, Mum. Speak to you later, yeah? I put the phone back in my pocket thinking about how bloody unfair it was. My son worked so hard to earn a living. The thought of all these stupid, small-minded bureaucrats coming in, giving him a hard time, made me furious. Picking up the plant again, I got in the queue for the checkout. It was gone midday, and I knew I had to be at the dentist at 1:45. The plant was starting to make my arm ache, so I shifted it across to the other hand. What was taking those stupid girls so long? I put the plant on the floor. Now, an old dodderer seemed to be paying in all coppers, counting them out one by one with shaky fingers. She finished her transaction, and I shifted my plant along with my feet. An old boy in front of the gormless checkout girl now. Why was only one till being used? There seemed to be hordes of shop assistants milling around chatting and looking at their mobiles. Could you enter your PIN, please? Sorry, dear, the old boy said. Your PIN. Can you put your PIN in? PIN? Yes, your PIN number for the card. Oh dear, I'm not sure I know that. Oh, for God's sake, I wanted to scream at the old fool. Why pay with a bloody card if you don't know the PIN number? I don't like all that card business, so I just get cash. Is it really that difficult? The old codger finally moved on, and it was my turn to face the slack-jawed child behind the counter. It hasn't got a price on, she said. They were $7.99, I said. I better get someone to check. She called over a boy who could have been her twin, with such a similar slack jaw and glazed eyes. I tutted and rolled my eyes. What plant is it? The boy said. Dunno, the girl said, searching for a label. It's a rhododendron, I said. Surely you should recognise such a common plant, working in a garden centre. They all look the same to me. the boy said, actually laughing. I couldn't believe it. How could they have such little interest in these lovely plants? Who hires these ignoramuses? The boy finally returned and called, "They're $7.99. Like I said, I couldn't resist saying. When I made it back to my car, it was gone 12:15. I would be lucky to make it at the dentist in time at all at this rate. As I pulled out of the parking space, I heard the plant pot fall over. Great, I bet half the buds have fallen off and there's mud all over the floor. Halfway to the exit, I noticed a car turn into the same lane as me at the far end and stop. Looking down, I realised that I was going the opposite way to the way the arrows were pointing. So bloody what, I thought. But the car at the other end had stopped and was blocking the exit. I noticed that the car was full of people in suits. There were 2 tight-haired, mean-mouthed women and 2 balding, stodgy-looking men. They looked exactly how I imagined those council workers who were giving my son a hard time would look. Mean-faced, mean-spirited, officious bureaucrats. As I moved towards them, I could see their faces. They were looking at me as if I'd committed some heinous crime. Stupid, small-minded morons. My blood was beginning to boil. Why weren't they getting out of the way? The pettiness oozed out of them. Their nasty, mean little faces were looking at me when the driver lifted up his hand and wiggled a finger at me. How dare he, cheeky little bastard! I knew how to deal with these people. I composed my face to look apologetic, but was building up a lot of air behind my teeth, ready for an explosion. With my "I'm really sorry" face on, I pulled up so I was right next to their car, my window next to their driver's side window. The driver began to lower his window and I lowered mine, keeping a sorry look on my face right up until the window was all the way down. Then I leaned out as far as I could and with as much force as I could muster, I bellowed, "Fuck off!" The force of the air behind the F made my teeth shoot out and hit the bewildered driver right in the face before falling into his lap. The occupants of the car all sat in complete silence with stunned looks on their faces. With my gummy face turning more and more red, I asked in a very polite tone, "Could I possibly have my teeth back, please?" The end.